23rd, 2018. My name is Bill McCamley. I'm a state representative from Las Cruces and Mesilla here in New Mexico, though I am up here in Albuquerque. Campaigning today, I am a candidate for New Mexico State Auditor, but I wanted to talk with you a little bit today about young people and voting. So there is an election coming up. The primary election here in New Mexico will be June 5th, and the early vote starts on May 8th. And usually in these quote-unquote off-year elections, where the president is not on the ballot, there's a lot less national soap opera drama, and people tend to vote less, and specifically that's people under the age of 40. So as an example, in 2012, 36% of the vote consisted of people under the age of 40, while as in 2014, which is another one of these off-year elections, the last one we had, that dropped to 26%. So it was a 10% drop in the percentage of people under the age of 40, young folks, that turned out to vote. Now, I just turned 42 weeks ago, so I used to say we, and that doesn't include me anymore. But why is this important? Because elections have consequences, and a lot of the policies that get put in place at the federal level and the state level and local level affect you. And remember, this year, there will be 3 seats up in the United States House of Representatives. One of those is going to be very highly contested, the one in Albuquerque in the primary, whereas the one in my neck of the woods down in Las Cruces will be one of the ones that national folks are watching as an open seat, considering the incumbent is now running for governor. Speaking of that, the governor is going to be up, as well as every seat in the State House of Representatives and all of the statewide offices like the one I'm running for, State Auditor. What kind of issues are addressed by the people that you're going to elect by participating in June and November? Education. And this affects both people that are in college or in university or getting training certificates, and how available that is and what kind of price you're going to have to pay, and parents of young children. Are we making the resources available for early childhood education and the resources available to support young parents at the state level? Remember, 72% of babies in New Mexico are born into Medicaid, and whether or not we're going to be making those work or not, making those programs work or not, is a big deal. Look at the economy. And that's everything from job creation. Do we want to try trickle-down economics, where we just cut taxes for the rich and hope that they spend down the way? Or do we want to support workforce training and building infrastructure like broadband access for everybody? That's been a big difference between Republicans and Democrats. Not only that, what do wages look like? Wage protections are set at the local level and at the state level for minimum wage and for public sector jobs, and those raise wages for everybody across the board. Do we want to protect those or not? Cannabis legalization, that's a big deal at the state level, and that happens with the medicinal folks who are using it for PTSD, for cancer, et cetera, and so on, all the way to social use. And yes, I'm pretty on record wanting to legalize it for social use for a whole bunch of reasons, but that's going to be decided in New Mexico in the next couple of years if we get the right people in there. The environment, specifically efforts to fight climate change. People under the age of 40, y'all are going to be living with this a lot longer than other folks that are older. So when you look at forest fires, when you look at drought, when you look at flooding that happens in other places, do we want to fight this now? The answer should be yes. And how we go about doing that and who is going to be making policies that make that work happen at the state and local level and at the federal level. Healthcare, specifically women. Do you want access to quality birth control? Do you want access to other health and reproductive options for your own body? These things are constantly being debated at the state and federal level. And if you don't participate, the people that get in will be making those decisions being voted on by the people that did participate. So remember, the primaries start on May 8th here in New Mexico. You can register to vote up until May 8th. So actually on May 8th, you can go register to vote and vote at your county clerk's office. But if you want to participate in the primary, you have to register by May 8th. There's an online voting process here in New Mexico. It takes a minute, literally, and I'll be putting a link on both the Facebook and Twitter versions of this for you to be involved with. So please, please, please take the time. Get out there and vote. I used to be student government president at New Mexico State, and it was really hard sometimes trying to make young people understand why this was important and talk with them about how this affected their lives. But I think a lot of people are seeing this year that it does affect them and that it does matter. And so I'm just encouraging you, please, 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 right now, start looking at these elections, register to vote if you're not, and make plans to get out there and do it. Once again, my name is Bill McCamley. I'm a state rep from Las Cruces, and I'm a candidate for state auditor. I appreciate you watching this. If you have questions, comments, or concerns on these or any of the issues, I would love to talk with you about them. Thanks a lot. Bye.